Welcome to the third lesson of the submodule about data privacy. This third lesson will explain privacy policy statements of how personal data is used in digital services. Among the processes to ensure data privacy in the web environment, the best step you can take to protect your information from people trying to scam you online is to share less of it. We immediately think of social networks when it comes to sharing information, and that's a great starting place. Be especially careful of pictures of you or your loved ones, geotag posts, or any information you wouldn't want strangers to know about. In addition to social media platforms, nearly all apps collect details of your activities, and they rarely protect your data as carefully as you would like. Every few months, another company's privacy violations make headlines. All of these shares and data points make up your online footprint, which scammers can use to get access to your sensitive information. If we want to talk about some of the ways to stop oversharing online, sharing less on forums is one of the skip any optional information, like a middle name or phone number, also creating a throwaway email address. Email lists are often sold or rented on the dark web and can fall into unsafe hands. It might be good to consider making a throwaway email just for subscriptions. Also, limiting collaborative folders, albums, or playlists is effective. The more people who have access to your data, the more likely it could be leaked or hacked. Another important thing is that you need to use strong, unique passwords and two-factor authentication. Strong passwords are the most important, and sometimes the only, protection we have against identity theft and hackers. If you don't already have passwords or passcodes for all your devices, including guest accounts, add them now. But hackers can evade even a strong password if your device doesn't automatically lock. In other words, once you switch off your iPhone or turn on your screensaver, make sure the device requires the password again in as short a time as possible. For devices that use fast biometric authentication like fingerprint scanning or facial recognition instead of a code, the best setting is 30 seconds or immediately. Next, use a strong and unique password on your online accounts. Since you probably have dozens of accounts, a password manager is an easier way to keep the information secure. And finally, set up two-factor authentication for every account that allows you to. It's a second secure measure that can even protect you if you've shared your password with hackers in a phishing attack. If you've ever needed to type in a code sent to your mobile phone, you've used two-factor authentication before. However, it's best practice to avoid SMS and use authenticator apps instead, as they are more secure than text message verification codes. Moreover, you should tighten privacy settings for your online accounts. The next step you can take is to simply review the privacy settings on the online accounts you use regularly. Companies make millions or even billions off collecting your personal information. And in general, their default settings skew towards collecting, not protecting your data. Even apps you've forgotten about can stay active with hidden features. 8 popular Chrome and Firefox extensions turned out to include code that tracked all browser activity. The data included tax returns, medical data, which could lead to medical identity theft, and secret developments at companies like Tesla and Apple. Even if you still visit a site every once in a while, it's safer to access it through your browser than download the app on your device. To ensure data privacy in the web environment, you should block search engines from tracking you. Your search engine collects a huge amount of personal data about you. And for 92% of us, that search engine is Google. The owners of the two largest search engines, Google and Bing, also operate the popular browsers Chrome and Edge, respectively. So, they track a lot of data. The first step to improving search engine privacy is deleting your data. For Google, go to the My Activity dashboard and delete everything. For Microsoft, you'll need to clear data separately from Microsoft Edge and Bing. For Yahoo, you can delete data from search history management. Unfortunately, there's no way to eliminate all tracking on Google. An alternative is to switch to an online privacy-focused search engine like DuckDuckGo. It is suggested that you should browse online with a secure VPN. Your web browser, like Google Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, may also collect data on your online activities. To start, consider signing out of your browser. Then, use a few browser extensions to improve privacy and security. Everywhere forces encrypted connections on supported sites, helping hide data like credit card numbers on your Wi-Fi network. Ad blockers or tracking blockers prevent sites from tracking you. Leveraging a secure VPN can encode your browsing information and make it unreadable to hackers. A VPN is essential if you're forced to use public Wi-Fi, like at a coffee shop or airport. Remember, there are numerous dangers of using public or unsecured Wi-Fi networks. You can also use private or incognito mode, but it's less secure than you might think. Your Internet Service Provider, ISP, still records all your browsing history, and websites can collect detailed information about your computer, including your IP address. Also, be careful when browsing in public. Hackers use a scam called shoulder surfing to watch you enter your private information when you're using your devices. Finally, a further step toward ensuring online privacy is using a different browser, such as Brave. The most secure browsing option is Tor, which hides your location and history across various layers. Tor makes for a slower browsing experience but with unmatched privacy. Another solution to ensure data privacy is not to ignore software updates. Most privacy hacks don't come about from newly discovered bugs. Instead, they take advantage of known vulnerabilities that have already been fixed. On computers that haven't installed the Fix.a 2021 report by Bitdefender showed that unpatched vulnerabilities were among the top reasons why Windows systems were prone to attacks. The first and most crucial step is to set your operating system to install updates automatically. Follow instructions to set up auto-update for Microsoft Windows, Apple macOS, and Google Chrome OS. You can also download antivirus software to protect against malware like spyware, which collects data like credit card information in the background. You also need to disable ad and data tracking. Most of your personal data collected online isn't for scams or data breaches, it's for marketing. With a few simple steps, you can disable many of these trackers. First, when pop-ups ask if you want to share data, say no.